In 1985, Mom Corinne Schultz took a picture of her triplets, Peter, Mark, and Dennis. She took the snap right on their first birthday. She could never have known it would be the start of a long-standing tradition. That one photo would lead to a moment when the triplets would pose together for 33 years. The photos clearly show the similarities as well as the differences in the personalities of the trio. Before we start, can we get this video to 1,000 likes? Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. The photo series of the trio started in 1985 and was taken on their first birthday, although it wasn't meant to start a tradition, because Corinne, the mother of the three boys, just wanted to take a nice picture. Posing in front of a birthday sign quickly became an annual thing for brothers Peter, Mark, and Dennis. When the three brothers turned 2, Karen made another happy birthday play for her boys. This time, they were a little more aware of what was happening around them. They were standing in line to pose for the camera. The result was a very cheerful photo, in which the triplets clearly enjoyed all the attention. For someone she doesn't know, it's hard to tell who's who. It wasn't until their third birthday that Carrie decided to make the annual birthday photo a tradition with her boys. At the age of 4 years old, you already started to see their personality clearly in the photos. The triplets were on their way to their freshman year of school, and the tradition continued. Their personalities also began to shine through on this anniversary. Mark and Dennis on top of a playground, and Peter lying in the picture. Fortunately, all 3-year-old Joppin were smiling in the photo. Their 5th birthday was a tough one. Birthday number 5 was a little sad for the 3 young boys. As you can also see from the pictures, from the concern on their faces, it is in fact the year that their mother Corinne was battling Parkinson's disease. Still, she didn't want to skip her triplets' 5th birthday and celebrate with their annual traditions. On their 6th birthday, the boys were happy and smiling again in the photo. All 3 boys did well at school. They had made new friends and their mother was fortunately doing a little better. They were excited to take their annual birthday photo. Part of the annual tradition were the matching sweaters. Something changed. On their 7th birthday, Peter, Mark, and Dennis did something different. Matching sweaters were from last year, and it was the first time the triplets didn't wear matching sweaters on their birthday. Instead, they opted for overalls, with different sweaters underneath. When the boys turned 8, they stuck to their new tradition of wearing different sweaters. Although the polka dot pattern was the same, they decided to wear different colors. It was not the last photo of the threesome, but it was the last photo in their home. Less than a month after the photo was taken, their house burned to the ground. The fire was caused by a gas leak, and they ran into a difficult time. When it came time for their 10th birthday photo, they decided to try something new. The boys grew up quickly, and Peter had saved enough money to buy his own camera. This year, as an independent boy, Peter decided to take the photo himself using a self-timer. The triplets had become 11 years old, and Peter had developed into a real small ladies' man. He was the first of the brothers to have a girlfriend. He and Eva met after school. The other siblings, Peter and Dennis, were driving around making mischief, as most 11-year-olds do. The annual photo was one with 2 serious faces and one with a sarcastic grin. Sadly, on their 12th birthday, Peter was diagnosed with epilepsy. Birthday number 12, therefore, was a bit difficult for the triplets, while Mark and Dennis were getting ready to start high school. Peter walked in and out of hospitals. On their 13th birthday, Peter was separated from his brothers because his parents had decided it was better for him to stay in primary school, while his 2 brothers went to high school. His attacks were also triggered by new experiences, and changing from one school to another was certainly one of them. Peter would eventually go to high school. On his 14th birthday, Peter would eventually go to high school on his 14th birthday. Peter turned out to be one of the smartest children in the class, and it was very nice for him to be reunited with his 2 brothers. On their 15th birthday, the triplets ended up in one greenhouse together. Peter was put back in the same class as Mark and Dennis. He was very smart and willing to show a lot of effort and study a lot. It was all about hair dye by the time they celebrated their 16th birthday. It was clear to see that the boys had entered their rebellious teenage phase, and each wanted to show their own identity. The 3 boys were still busy with high school, when it came time to celebrate their 17th birthday. It was also the moment when they decided to give up the hair dye and their long hair. The boys looked as much alike as they had in childhood. On to the future, the brothers all graduated high school on their 18th birthday. All three of them had decided to continue their studies. Mark wanted to be a teacher, Dennis a sports masseur, and Peter wanted to be an architect. Just before they turned 19, Peter had an epileptic seizure. Peter hadn't had seizures in several years, and the family hadn't seen it coming. And that right before his 19th birthday. The Triplets brothers moved to Berlin during their 20th birthday. During his last attack, Peter had developed a fear of being alone. The three brothers therefore decided to move to Berlin to be with Peter. Before that, the trio lived in different locations, among other things, to work on their studies. Now that Peter needed his brothers more than ever, they didn't hesitate for a moment to leave and be there for him. For their 21st birthday, all three of them were together, and this time again, they took the traditional family photo. All three of them were living in Berlin at the time, studying and taking courses there. With their mother's birthday plate ready, which they've had since they were little, the boys posed for yet another photo. At age 22, two of the three boys had super long hair, so not just Peter. In this year, the boys graduated and moved back home on their 23rd birthday in the year 2008. After hard work, they had finally completed their studies. It was supposed to be a fun time for them, but unfortunately, this turned out differently. Unfortunately, their mother Karen recently received terrible news. She had a malignant tumor in her intestines. Without hesitation, the three boys took it upon themselves to take care of their mother. Even when they were 24 years old, they took care of their mother with love in the house where they grew up. Peter's girlfriend Susan also came to live with them to help. Together, all four children took care of Karen. At the age of 25 years old, brotherly hugs were heard to celebrate the happy day. Even with the ups and downs of their mother's illness, Karen and the boys were a close-knit group. When Peter, Mark, and Dennis turned 26, two of the three brothers had very long hair. Peter even had a ponytail and a headband, while Mark had strong curly locks that reached almost to his chin. When the boys turned 27, their beloved mother, Karen, unfortunately died of colon cancer. It was a birthday the triplets would never forget as they spent it without their mother. The brothers inherited the house and decided to live there together. After all, it was big enough. When Peter and Susan found out they were going to be parents, they couldn't be happier that their child would grow up in the same house as himself. Noah was born on the brothers' 28th birthday. The son of Peter and Susan was born on April 23 in 2013. The two parents were very happy, and Peter was very happy and excited to become a father. But maybe Mark and Dennis were even more excited to be uncles for the first time. Even in the midst of this grand event, the brothers still made time to take their birthday photo. By the time the brothers turned 29, they got into a bit of a routine. Peter, of course, had become a new father and Mark and Dennis uncles. They all had full-time jobs and were very busy. Their 30th birthday was celebrated in a big way, with a fantastic party for all their friends and relatives. The three brothers were incredibly grateful that they were still so close to each other, despite missing their mother. The future looked bright at the age of 31, and all three looked forward to what the future had in store for them. They still lived in their house, and they had a baby to look after. The brothers were all very happy on their 32nd birthday. Peter, Mark, and Dennis were having the best time of their lives by the time their 32nd birthday arrived. Better yet, they still had the birthday sign their mother made for them years ago. In the last photo of their baby-to-manual journey, we see the brothers at 33 with hopeful smiles on their faces. Despite going through many ups and downs, they still saw a bright future. After all, they had each other. We wonder what will happen to the brothers now. As the years go by, it's crazy to imagine what the brothers will look like in the future.